Welcome, guys. Welcome to Boston.
Thank you. Hi, Boston.
Woo!
You guys are great. You have a great city.
I guess this is sort of like a pseudo Squicker show today, right? Like, we're talking about the Squickerwonkers, so it's like a Squicker show. And as we're talking, guys, we do have some slides going up from the book, some pages, so you guys should keep an eye on that while also looking at us. First off, okay, so we have the Squickerwonkers prequel that came out a couple years ago, and now we have Squickerwonkers Volume 1, and that is out. So, Evangeline, start by telling us like sort of the beginning of this, the origins of the Squickerwonkers and where this concept emerged from.
Well, for all of you tweens out there, I first came up with the Squickerwonker concept when I was 14 years old. And I think often the minds of young people are full of the most imaginative ideas. And so when I go to find what are hopefully some of my best ideas for my writing ideas, I often go back to my young ideas. And the Squickerwonkers stayed with me for about 20 years and just grew and grew and grew and festered in my mind until it became what will hopefully be an 18-book series. And I first started that journey of making those into books when I was working on The Hobbit. And yeah. and I was so inspired by the creativity that was constantly going on in the Weta workshop. Because almost everybody in the Weta workshop is working on some of their own something. And everybody's got their pet project. And I was like, I want to do my pet project. So I partnered with an artist there at Weta workshop. We came up with a prequel, which many of you have already seen and read and loved for many years. And finally, we're here today with the demise of Sour the Spoil, the next book in the Squickerwonkers series.
Yes, and that's really loud out that way, so I don't know if we can put a note out there, but it's loud. But, okay, yeah, so Squickerwonkers, first off, so the word itself, like the name Squickerwonkers has just been simmering in your brain since you were 14. That's amazing. Probably just you occasionally write it on notes of like piece of paper, like Squickerwonkers, Squickerwonkers, Squickerwonkers. And it is Peter Jackson approved, I have to say. He did write the foreword in the first book. But was the idea always to evolve? We see in the prequel the origin of a Squickerwonker, and in Volume 1 we see her first sort of adventure. Was that always the plan, the arc?
No, originally the story was about a motley crew of misfits who ultimately do a sort of nasty deed and end up inheriting a fortune for it. It was always this sort of dark and twisted tale. And then it became a story that was about those motley crew of misfits and really how they came to be marionette puppets.
Yeah.
And how they ultimately, their vices bring them to their demise. And so the first 9 books are the Demise series, and the last 9 books are the Origin series. And it's chronologically tipped on its head because not only is that the Squicker world, everything is tipped on its head, but also because there's this wonderful secret of the mythology of the story that as you read along, you're going to start to discover there's a story under a story. And so there's Easter eggs for all of you who are the lovers of dissecting things. And I was first really coming off of Lost, and so Lost fans, I mean, they made more of our show than we did, and I was like, I want to write a book that they can enjoy, that they can dig into, and they can find more inside of it than meets the eye.
Yeah, well, I mean, and these characters, as you said, they're not our core characters. We first kind of get to know Selma the Spoiled, but these are not exactly the nicest characters. They are each named after vices, Greedy, and this, Sparky the Spectacle, and Lorna the Lazy, Andy the Arrogant, Papa the Proud, Mama the Mean. When you're kind of conceiving of this, was there ever a concern of like, I don't know, maybe this is too dark for readers? Will readers like be into this kind of it's a little bit of a macabreness, especially in the art, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But when you were first kind of constructing the story, did you ever think, oh, is it too dark?
Well, when I was a little girl, I hated reading. I hated books because I was a very slow reader, but I was a very smart girl. And I felt like either books were telling me, well, if you're slow, then you must be dumb. And they would write very simple because they were really designed for little kids. Or they were so overwhelming in the amount of words that I just couldn't keep up. And the first author who really grabbed my attention and helped me to fall in love with books and literature was Edward Gorey. Do any of you know Edward Gorey? Yes? I mean, he's amazing, and I felt like this man was saying, I get it. You're as smart as any adult in the room, even if you can only read 5 words a page. And I loved his books, and they never scared me. I thought they were hilarious. And so I really wanted to not only write books to sort of the little girl that was me, but also I looked around me at the world and the state of the world and at the stories that children are primarily being told in America. And they were very, very sweet stories with very perfect happy endings, which didn't really look very much like my life growing up. And they were always about good guys and bad guys. So I always got the subconscious message that if I make mistakes and I do things that are wrong, that makes me a bad person. And that I'm either a bad person who makes mistakes and does things wrong, or I'm a hero and I'm perfect. And then I have to be perfect. And it was very stressful, I feel, as a little girl to grow up with those messages. And so I wanted to write a story where every single protagonist in the story is flawed. Terribly, miserably flawed, just like I felt as a little girl. But they're the only people we're talking about, so they're the people you kind of love and you root for. And there's so many wonderful cautionary messages in it about teaching kids about making better choices so that they don't ultimately get themselves into really terrible situations. But there's no shaming of this is good and that is bad. It's all the same. We're all flawed. We all have make mistakes and do things wrong. It's just a matter of facing those mistakes with courage and making better choices next time.
And as fun and playful as the words are on the page, we certainly need the images to accompany it and bring those to life. And even a concept such as an elephant dragon, like that you have to have unique vision for that. So Rodrigo, really stunning artwork, I have to say, in volume 1. And yeah, I mean, I'm just curious about so first off, I mean, I want to hear about how you guys connected, but I also wanted to hear about your approach to the artwork and what sort of your mission was in bringing the Squickerwonkers to life in this first volume.
First of all, how we met is a really unusual story because I got the first book. I'm not the illustration of the prequel, I'm the illustration of the demise of Seven Not Spoiled. And I got this book and I loved the story and I loved everything. But I really wanted to see how was the illustration, how the images would look. So I made a fan art of the book and sent to Evangeline on her Facebook page. Yeah, and she just right on commented on it and liked it. And I said, oh my God, I don't know if she really did that or if it was somebody that...
Like an assistant or a publicist.
But I think 1 year later, she came to the Comic-Con in Brazil and I had the opportunity to meet her in person and I showed all my works and everything. But after that, we tried to find the right style for the book, and that's coming in. I have a formation in classic arts, so I really wanted to deliver that for children because I think that most of the illustrations for children, even in cartoons, are very simplified, and I think we need to have a balance of that. So I use all classic techniques and materials to deliver illustrations that are rich in texture and color, and the characters, if you see the puppets are made of wood, and the grain of wood make each character unique, and the wood are old, and the fabric are not, and it's what I wanted to deliver. I wanted to deliver the depth that Evangeline that had in Evangeline's words.
Yeah. Well, and I have to compliment you because if you guys haven't picked up the books and checked it out, I mean, I do strongly recommend it. As you said, the Squickerwonkers themselves are marionettes, but each even though they may be made of similar material, each is really representative of their characteristic and their vice and really comes alive. But also like the humans, the straight up humans in the book, each have an interesting style, from big brawny guy traveling through town to some of the townspeople and everything. So the world really does feel realized, and I think that's going to be exciting, seeing sort of the next chapters as they roll out. 18?
Hopefully.
You're going to be busy, you know.
If you guys buy the first two, we'll keep going.
Yeah. Well, and also it's just kind of fascinating because, of course, we are here at Fan Expo, a Comic-Con, a fan event, and it's just kind of encouraging that you guys connected essentially through fandom, you know, as a fan, and it really shows that like your voice is heard and people do pay attention to it, and it's all part of this creative process. Evangeline, just as far as the kids and then the big kids out there that have picked up the books, what are some of the responses that you've been getting? Are they, like what are they telling you that just makes you like, kind of like refuel you to go attack the next chapter?
Well, first of all, hearing from teachers and librarians that they share them with their kids, that they're in libraries, the kids take out the book a lot of times, that it gets used. I picture like the library card on the inside cover of my book, and that's just the most amazing thing. And the idea of lists of kids' names, or like a repeat, like Stan comes every 2 weeks because he gets the book and he just keeps renewing it, that kind of thing. For me, it still is, even though Rodrigo has encapsulated and perfectly captured this world, and I'm so happy and we're going to do the series together, it's just profound to see artists and in their fan work, whether it's a 5-year-old or a 50-year-old, to see their interpretation of the Squickerwonkers is so meaningful to us, and is probably one of the most rewarding parts of it. And I really think it's cool when people send me pictures of their kids like laying in bed reading the book, or the kids on daddy's knee and he's reading the book. It's all just a dream come true for me. I've been saying it for years, but believe it or not, acting is my day job. It's how I support my family, it's how I make a living, but writing is really my heart's passion, and it's what I love to do more than anything. So it's such a joy getting feedback from fans about my books and about Rodrigo's art.
Yeah, so then let me ask you, since acting is the job and this is the passion, at the end of the day, when you go back home or go back to a trailer and you want to work on the book, is it more cathartic for you, or is it challenging to kind of channel the voice of Squickerwonkers? Because you do have to like jump into that universe to do it. So is it more cathartic or more challenging to put pen to paper?
Well, for one thing, it's great that you said putting voice to the characters, because I actually did voice the characters in the audiobook of The Demise of Selma the Spoiled. So that was so fun and so ridiculous. And if you want to hear me embarrassing myself, just go to iTunes or audible.com and check out The Demise of Selma the Spoiled. But as far as the catharsis or the hard work, the writing itself is just the most cathartic thing I can do. It fills me up, it gives me energy, it doesn't deplete me. But I've been self-publishing these books on numerous occasions, and currently I'm once again self-publishing these books. And that part is so difficult, that part is so overwhelming. I'm an artist, I am not a businesswoman, and trying to learn the business of publishing is overwhelming at times, and sometimes I think I should just give up and stop. But what keeps me going is the catharsis of the writing, is the pure bliss of creating the world, bringing it to life, conceiving of each new story. That's where the joy comes from.
Well, you're also a creator through and through, where you really, without involvement of other people, control the direction of that, and that has to be encouraging and probably also difficult to let go of, because I'm sure a publisher might come along and say, hey, let's just bring that in-house, and you're like, I don't know, I totally control this, as much as it can suck sometimes to deal with the business. Like,
I've often been known to say if I was a Squickerwonker, I would be Carrie the controlling, because that is my vice. I'm very controlling. Although at the beginning I did go to a few publishers, some of the bigger houses, and I got so much feedback saying, too dark and too sophisticated. And I just thought, what an insult to children. What do you mean? I just know that children are so much more capable and so much more intelligent than often we give them credit for.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I mean, as a fan of Edward Gorey and also, like, just like, those, I think kids can handle it more than parents give, or adults give them credit for, you know? So, I want to go ahead and open it up to audience questions, especially because we have